tower. It's on the corner of Lak'ech Street and Hanover Street. It's right here. This is the third one I've spotted in the north end. I'll show you pictures of the other one. If you understood what this does, if you understood the radiation this gives off, you would fucking run a tank into it right now. Here's the fourth 5G tower that I've spotted in the north end. This right here, listen to it. It's radiation. It's fucking radiation that's giving off. Holy shit. It's active. So this is a 5G kill grid tower. It is on the corner Lak'ech and Hanover Street. There's a fire station right there. Listen to it. You happy with this in your neighborhood around your kids? This is on the corner of Hanover and Battery. Listen, all of these are active, man. This is giving off fucking radiation. Do you understand what this is? This is a magnetron. Do you see that? This is around your kids, your family. These are all homes right here. What is wrong with you? There's another one right here. Listen. There's another one right here. Look at this one's hidden.
Allot certain spectrum to certain companies, and if you haven't figured it out, your parents and your grandparents were watching the idiot box on the spectrum that was opened up 80 years ago. And the radio stations and the TV stations are controlled by 5 companies. Now they're probably controlled by 3 or 2. They have been feeding you lies for decades and decades and decades. You can't broadcast unless the FCC gives you a license. Now what they've done is the most harmful frequencies imaginable. You know, the 2.4 gigahertz, that happens to be the frequency that the water molecules start to rotate on their axis when they're hit with the radio frequency emissions at that particular frequency. Why are they messing with the water molecules? Well, we're 70% water, and they know what this stuff does. So what the FCC did is they opened up that frequency band, that part of the spectrum, to everybody. You don't need a license to broadcast on it. And you know what that did? The saturation of radio frequency emissions in that part of the spectrum. In other words, they want to bathe you in the frequency that messes with the water molecules. Is that a good idea? That's not a good idea. Maybe you're not aware of this.
Not a good idea.
So they got you addicted to Wi-Fi and your gadgets. They're doubling down now because they're coming out with a new frequency. Because they claim that you can't get enough of your Netflix and enough of your stupid movies or whatever you have to check, that these frequencies are getting congested. There's too much traffic. It's a bunch of freaking hogwash, folks. Everything works just fine right now. The systems that are in place with these towers is so overkill it's not even funny. They could run 100,000 times more devices than they're using right now. They got you addicted to these devices. Now they're going to bring a new technology out. This really scares me to this because this is the end. They've opened up, the FCC's opened up the millimeter wave band, and they're going to be broadcasting on 60 gigahertz, folks. Wi-Fi right now is using the frequency of water molecules. Their rotation on their axis begins at 2.4 gigahertz. In other words, that's the spot on the spectrum of the trillions of frequencies. That's the spot on the spectrum where the maximum dielectric loss of water begins. That's a fancy term for when they start rotating, trying to line up to keep pace with the alternating field, electromagnetic field. So it causes water molecules to vibrate on their axis. Well, they're going to use 60 gigahertz for the new 5G and the new Wi-Fi. It's called Y-Gig. Okay? You need to understand something. This stuff
There's
is...
another one right here. This one's hidden. Look at it. See it? So there's one right here. And then there's another one right there. So there's 2 on this corner. So there's one right there. Right in front of the church on the corner. Right there. Where's my finger? Right there. There's a 5G tower right there. Yeah, let's pan back down. There's a 5G tower right there. There's a fucking 5G tower right there. So if you're in this neighborhood right now, you are already, these are active. You're fucking getting saturated with radiation. You are part of the kill grid. Congratulations. You're doing a naval station, and you know that they have a massive one there, right? Towers, antennas, radiation signals, right? Radar.
Oxygen molecule absorption spectrum. I repeat that. This is the frequency that the oxygen molecules start reacting to. So they're using Wi-Fi to mess with the water. They're going to use WiGig and 5G to mess with the oxygen. Now this crap doesn't travel far, so they got to put them really close together. They're going to put these little transmitters all over the light poles, telephone poles, light poles, public buildings, and you got to put it in your house because the crap's not going to work. And I keep saying crap because this is crap. It's a weapon. And they're going to get you to go to Costco and bring it home in big boxes, and you're going to put it all over your house because you're stupid and you're not listening to me. You need to understand something. You need to stop killing yourselves, okay? That's what these people have managed to get you to do. They have managed to get you to kill yourselves and enjoy it, and kill your children and pay for it. What God has done, how He's created our bodies, and He's created these mechanisms, and He created a molecule called hemoglobin, and it binds to the iron. You know that iron is magnetic. Have you ever heard of the word magnetobiology? If any of you out there are physicians or doctors or physicists or biochemists or any type of researchers, I bet you've never heard of that field of study. I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry and I have a bachelor's degree in biological science. And when I went to UCI for 5 years, none of the curriculum included anything remotely close to the interactions of electromagnetic fields with living tissue. They don't want you to know about how this works because this is a secret stealth weapon that they're touting as the neatest thing since sliced bread. It is right now making up the majority of the economy. And if this technology was to be exposed for what it truly is, it would collapse the economy. They've got everything intertwined in this. The pension funds are infested with investments in these companies. They're rolling this out so fast, and they're passing laws at the federal and the state and the local levels to where you can't say no to this crap. And they built this whole infrastructure's legal ability to exist on research that was done in the 1980s, and it was passed in 1996 by that dirtbag Bill Clinton. Yes, Bill Clinton signed the Telecom Act. He is the one that put the death knell to humanity, okay? He's the one. They're using 30-year-old research that was rigged from the get-go, and now they're rolling out technology that they've never even publicly released the testing on. They know what this stuff does. That's why they're doing it. They know what this stuff is capable of. That's why they're rolling it out. And they used a framework from 30-year-old rigged research.
currently has these light fixtures here. They have a cement base, and then they have that light on top. There's 2 5G down the street, but they have a whole refrigerator and the cylinder on the top. And all the rest of them are now this right here. See them? Sorry, I'm so good. How are you?
Good, baby. How are you?
This is right here. This is what it used to be. All these older looking light fixtures like that, you know. And now, so here we have this corner, that one, and this one right around the corner. We have another part of the 5G grid.
Neurological effects, the FCC don't exist. And this is the big problem. The FCC regulates wireless radiation human exposure levels. And the fact is the FCC has no one qualified to assess safety for us. Yet they're saying it's safe, and they've set a standard that's too high. It's a thermal standard. Thermal and above. If it doesn't heat you or burn you, it doesn't hurt you. And as you know, your phone doesn't heat or burn you, but yet you still have biological effects. People are getting neurological effects. People are getting cancer from wireless radiation. People are getting immune system problems, and fertility is affected, basically affecting all systems of the body. And people just go to that website you talked about, bioinitiative.org. This looks at 3,600 studies and breaks it down by different sections of the body and shows you there's definitely evidence that wireless radiation is very, very harmful and should be minimized rather than maximized, which the FCC is doing in concert with the wireless industry and their lobby group, CTIA.
But it's actually scarier than that, because even if you're not using a cell phone at all, they're putting towers up all over the country without your permission. You used to have to sign something, and you saw those little green tree-looking things that were cell towers, you know, and if they were going to put them within a certain radius of your house, you had to sign off of them. Not the case anymore, tell us.
Yeah, so there's a new wireless technology, 5G. So right now we're at a lower frequency, like 1 to 3 gigahertz. This is now 24 to 90 gigahertz. Just to put that in perspective, 90 gigahertz is 90 billion electromagnetic waves per second hitting and going through your cells every second. That is far from natural. Your heart has a circuit, has electricity to it. Your brain has electricity to it. It's about 8 to 10 hertz. This is billions of times more than what's natural. And 5G is being forced on us. In California, SB 649 is going to make it so they can put one of these transmitters in front of your house. And 5G doesn't travel very well because it's very dense. And so they have to put a transmitter about every 2 to 10 homes. The industry is now pushing it with Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. And he's now said, I'm going to speed up the siting of these small cell transmitters. He's met with AT&T and Verizon and all those. AT&T invested $16 million in lobbying last year. We don't have the kind of resources to get a meeting. One of the reasons I came to meet with you was to say to you, please help me get a meeting with President Trump. I believe he has the guts and the courage, and he cares enough about the average person to say no to these transmitters and say yes to making this technology safer.
If we can get the word out to him.
If we could meet with them.
Yeah. Well, you have taken this so seriously that you've literally dedicated your life to this. This is your life's work. But aside from meeting with the president, which of course has to be a goal if we're going to change policy, I know you've also met with many legislators. How can we, the average citizen, be the most effective? Because honestly, the information is overwhelming.
Okay. So half the states now have these bills called the Wireless Telecommunications.
My name's Kevin Modis. I'm with the California Brain Tumor Association, but actually collaborate with 10 other groups. One of the groups is emfscientist.org, emfscientist.org. That's 220 doctors and scientists from 39 countries who have looked at health effects from wireless radiation. And from their work and the work of others, we can clearly say that wireless radiation can cause cancer, neurological problems, immune system disorders, and reproductive harm. Clearly, our scientists, along with the other groups I work with, which are composed of people who are developing wireless health effects from their various sources. For instance, people developing brain tumors from their cell phone and the radiation emits. People developing neurological symptoms from the Wi-Fi from school.
Down to the right, that end of Salem Street is where those other 5G towers are. And here is another one. This is the library. It's right in front of the library. Here you go. Another one right here. Homes, restaurants. Kids are here all day long. This is insane. 5G right there. There's the base, the fridge, and then there's the top of it. But it would appear it's taking electricity from these two. Because the north end doesn't have cables above ground. We don't have wires above ground. Think of it this way. Each one of these light posts is like having a magnetron Wi-Fi. So, it's residential. I mean, the first floor may be commercial, but the second floor is all residential. You know, and up above right there. That's geoengineering. Nanoparticulates. Hi, how are you? Aluminum, barium, strontium, AI, more gallons. There's a lot in there. What's going on over your head every day? The background you're seeing, that white right there, it's a chemical wetting that's taking place. Well, the visual one you can see is happening inside of you, and now it's going to work with these towers. These towers are going to allow them to have a 3D picture inside of your home, your person. They're going to be allowed to disable you. Never mind, just, you know, straight up gonna fucking kill you. On this street, in this side of the north end, they haven't replaced the light fixtures yet. So they're all the original, and then right here is the new ones. So you can see the router on top. What it once was.
Where it's more than mind control. It's a physical body control. Some people call them heat, and they can render a body completely incapacitated through these frequency transmissions. They'll turn them on, and people become completely disoriented, vertigo, nauseous, lose all control of their body functions, and you collapse to the ground, and you remain there until the signal's shut off.
Right. So do you think they're setting these up preparing for something? Like in case they may need to use them on us?
yeah, that's exactly why they're put there. I mean,
right, that's really scary.
Another type of defense there that at a lower level transmission, it will cause like a hissing or a vibration or a hum, and no matter where you are, this
will generate tens of billions of dollars in economic activity. And that's damn important, because it means that U.S. companies will be the first out of the gate. And that is why 5G is a national priority, and stay out of the way of technological development. Unlike some countries, we do not believe that we should spend the next couple of years studying what 5G should be or how it should operate. The future has a way of inventing itself. Turning innovators loose is far preferable to expecting committees and regulators to define the future. We won't wait for the standards. We're already seeing the industry gearing up to seize this opportunity. Tell us they'll begin deploying 5G trials in 2017, and the first commercial deployments they're talking about are expected in 2020. And we're not done. As part of our July 14 action, we also plan to ask for comments on opening up other high-frequency bands. Many of the high-frequency bands that we will make available for 5G currently have some satellite users, as well as some Defense Department applications, or at least the possibility of future satellite and defense users. This means sharing will be required between satellite and terrestrial wireless, an issue that is especially relevant in the 28 gigahertz band. But if anyone tells you that they know the details of what 5G is going to become, run the other way. If something can be connected, it will be connected. Hundreds of billions of microchips connected in products from pill bottles to plant waterers. We must reject, if something can be connected, it will be connected. Hundreds of billions of microchips connected in products from pill bottles to plant waterers. We must reject the notion that the 5G future will be the sole provenance of urban areas. The 5G revolution will touch all corners of our country. A lot more antenna siting decisions by local governments, and tightened our shot clock for siting application reviews. America's local governments will play an important role in determining how we fulfill this national priority. You can be sure of only one thing. The biggest Internet of Things application has yet to be imagined. Tens of billions of dollars.
Street lights just used to be street lights, and they looked good and they fit the neighborhood. And then they started installing these magnetrons. Look at this shit. Look at this. Good with this? Again, look right here. Let's see if anything moves. Yeah. And look right up there too, in case you didn't know. There's a whole shitload of antennas and towers up there as well. I've called on those about a bunch of bullshit stories. You know, they're being cooked. And, you know, it was great when lights were just lights. All of this is for the 5G kill grid. All this. Everything's being ripped apart. It's like our home is literally like the heart's being ripped out of it right now. Painful square. The other one I just showed you is down that way. I didn't get far before I found another one right there. That's it. Right there. Yep. Part of the 5G kill grid. Another one. So there might be that black one that's down there. There seems to be two next to each other. He's on the corner of Garden Court and Fleet Street. So here's the old lights, but they're going to be replaced by those lights right there. Those lights have the kill grid, and those were just to illuminate. So that's gone. Right here, right there, up over the hill there, over there, over there, over here. We have all of the newer ones, the grid, right? The 5G, but then in front of the church. So like in front of the church, we have what used to be quaint little village, North End. Look at that. Yep. How about the picture? Jeez, how much chemical in this guy? Bad. Well, look at this guy. Oh, chemical. Another 5G tower. One's at the top of Prince in Hanover. There, and then down the street, right about down there. I know the picture's terrible. There's another one, and that's where the school is, and this is where the church is. Installed it. It's literally like the heart of this place has been ripped completely open. Look at it. It's so sad, man. All the way down the street too, it goes. Look at that. Now they're gonna detour traffic. The building across the street has a tower on top. And how fitting that there's a child in the window playing. I am shaking right now. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. How does no one else understand right now what's going on? Those people underneath that are gonna get sick and get cancer. Children could have learning disabilities. This is in a street now. Oh my God, why? Why? For fuck's sake. I'm shaking. This is a death tower. All of those light fixtures down there on the street are all 5G. That rip in the middle of the street that looks like it had open heart surgery, pretty much the village has been torn apart. That's the 5G kill grid that's being installed. So, oh my God. Look at on every building. Look at this. Do you see the discs and the towers? Do you understand where you are? Do you understand what you're exposing your children to? Do you know how much radiation that gives off? What about that one right there? So you have that one right there. You have that one right there. You have these right here. Wow. Wow.